I see they brought Temu Pastor Cal on tonight's episode. And is Mecca's dad a principal for real, or is he a comedian, y'all? Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 2. And I feel like I'm being trolled. I feel like I am being trolled. I feel like they are playing in all of our faces. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, they are running the biggest scam in the history of this show, because it is really the audacity, guys. It is really the audacity. So we pick up, you know what I'm saying, with Adam and Marissa, because I was under the impression that this potentially was an entanglement gone wrong, that this was a, you know what I'm saying, a hookup situation or a relationship that gone bad or whatever the case may be, and somebody didn't do their proper research, somebody didn't do their proper background check and all of the things. Come to find out, apparently, allegedly, a couple of years ago, they met at a bar or some type of nightclub or something that would indicate might serve adult beverages, right? But anywho, exchanged information, exchanged numbers. Apparently, they found each other attractive. However, nothing ever materialized. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Adam got ghosted. And this is interesting because I feel like in situations like this, when you just get completely ghosted, sometimes people, might have revenge later on, might have resentment later on, might do something later on if for whatever reason you're back in the picture that is not going to make you forget it. So that was in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? They claimed that they're into each other and thought each other was attractive. Adam reiterated to Marissa, listen, look here, I don't drink. You know what I'm saying? I do not drink, and all of the things. And ultimately, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. He was confused, it sounded like, by her letter, as far as like what the context was, and all of the things. We fast forward to the reception, y'all. And, people are giving these heartwarming speeches and everything else about the bride and the groom. And then Adam is like, listen, look at here. It is my time to shine. It is my time to showcase my talents. So he plays, you know what I'm saying? He goes up and plays on the piano, right? And so he plays Fuel Elise, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. That's Gucci. You know what I'm saying? You're going to come back down to the sweetheart table, and let's continue on with the reception. Then he plays more songs on the piano, you guys. And production is so messy. They were filming the people in the crowd. Some people were knocked the F out. You got the bride and her friends laughing. You know what I'm saying? Wanting this to be over. They're like, oh, there's more. and it wouldn't even shock me if there was more than 2 songs that he played, because it literally sounded like, you know what I'm saying, that it was going to be midnight by the time he was done. It was like, let me show you everything I can do. No. Like I said, it's one thing if you wanted to do 1 song, 2 songs max. But it was given that you gave a full-on concert and put these people to sleep at your own wedding reception. Absolutely not. So I don't know what to make of this couple. All I know is afterwards, Marissa told Adam that her favorite movie is Pride and Prejudice, and there's a lot of piano playing in that movie, and that they should watch it on their wedding night. And I'm sure Adam was thrilled. Oh, and then one of the cringe things that happened as far as one of the relatives speaking upon the bride, of one of the things that the groom should know about her is that, her best work is horizontal. What? Like, and this is what happens when y'all families, it's not at the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Because he basically let, Marissa know, listen, there's not going to be no son mother dance or any of the things. I don't know where my family is. They were in Iceland. Now they're in Budapest. My dad's not MMA. He's MIA. Grandmother couldn't come. My mom and my stepdad, you know what I'm saying, are on a international trip of a lifetime. They did not give a F that I was getting married on national TV. Because they didn't believe it. They didn't think it was anything serious. It was nothing to push back their travel plans or reschedule their trip or any of the things. They said deuces. You're not bigger than our program. We're out of here. And we're not going to attend this sham of a marriage. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know if that sounded like that to you. But that's what it felt like to me, right? So then we get into, more of the couples. We get introduced, you guys, to Courtney and Nick. And Nick, to me, had looked familiar, right? Right off the rip. He looked familiar to me. And then they said he used to be on The Circle and on The Perfect Match, which are reality shows on Netflix, right? And I was like, there it is. I knew that face. So this is a professional reality TV star, which means he should not be on a show like this in the first place because he is just here for fame. And again, this is where is Pastor Cal? Where is Dr. Pepper? You know what I'm saying? Are you trying to have people get married for love, or are people just here for the clout and for the fame and for the followers, right? So I was just under the impression that Nick did a couple of reality shows, but after they did the interviews with Nick and Courtney, apparently, allegedly, Nick's been on at least 5 reality shows, has done Drag Race, has done all these shows, and I'm thinking to myself, why would you guys move forward with this connection? Why wouldn't you choose another husband for Courtney? And then you have the female expert that's like, oh, well, I don't think him being on that many reality shows is a big deal because he comes from a good family and can provide financially. No, you've lost your mind. Anybody who is making a career for themselves on reality TV and is hopping on reality show to reality show to reality show, that is their career. That is their life. They want the fame. They want the clout. They want the followers. This is an audition for whatever Nick wants to be on next, which potentially can be Love is Blind if they do another season in Seattle. That's what it's giving. You know what I'm saying? It's giving he's going to be on as many reality shows that will take him until he is sick of it. So there was a conversation about political views, and it seemed like they wanted to match Courtney and Nick because of the fact that they're both conservative. But then, the expert was asking, okay, well, what level of conservative, how far into, being a conservative are we talking? And then the question was asked, you know what I'm saying? What's your take on January 6th? Where were you on January 6th? And I didn't like the answer, you know what I'm saying? Trying to act like they didn't know. Or was that supposed to be an acceptable answer to pretend that they didn't know? I was of confusion. I was definitely of confusion with all of that, right? But I just didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. We get to the wedding. I don't know who in their deluded minds was talking about some Nick looks like Tom Brady. I need people to get their eyes checked. If y'all gonna say somebody looks like a celebrity or looks like an athlete or looks like a public figure, I need y'all to be spot on. Nick does not look like no Tom Brady. Like y'all need to keep it a buck. For real, right? So in the groom's dressing room with the groomsmen, it seems like Nick cares about wanting his wife to know who he is, that he's been on reality TV before, and that if she doesn't know, that he guarantees that somebody in the bridal party is going to know. And this is where it's like, for me, the show has lost the plot. There are so many single people in this world who are genuinely looking for love, who are genuinely looking for companionship. And yes, the reality TV component of it all, it is an issue, which is probably why a lot of single people will never sign up for reality TV, because of the exploitive nature and the potential for disaster pairings like this exist, that we're not going to see the real single people on this show for real. But unfortunately, if Courtney is really there for love, she is paired up with a dud, with a reality TV professional career that he's going to try to lie and diminish about and make it seem like he's there for love, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. If your conversation with your friends is more about who is going to recognize you, who's going to ask you for pictures, and all of the things, right? So we get to the wedding, and again, I don't like these type of freestyle vows that people are trying to do, where it's very awkward. I think, like I said, in the old format on the Lifetime version, I liked where, the officiant basically said, listen, here, your groom wants you to know that he's into this. He's a manager of a tech company. He likes to travel. He likes to do this. He likes to do that. Your bride wants you to know that she's a nurse, that, she loves, her nieces and nephews, that she loves doing this and doing that. Like, just giving you a brief summary of who these people are. And now what is happening is the family is doing it kind of like they're course correcting it at the reception, but I feel like it's too late. I feel like it's too late for you to be introducing who your relative is at the reception. That was the whole point on Lifetime, to give us something at the actual wedding, at the actual vows, instead of having the bride and groom look awkwardly at each other, you know what I'm saying, and not know what to do. And then it was cringe as well, because before, they announced that, you may kiss the bride, already Nick was trying to go in and, got rejected. So, but then wasn't rejected once officially, was told that, you could kiss the bride or whatever, right? So we fast forward to the reception, people give their speeches, and then Nick tells Courtney, oh yeah, one of my groomsmen, and this person at my wedding, we were on the same TV show, and then somebody else at the sweetheart table was like, yeah, we were on Drag Race, and Courtney was not aware, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't registering to her yet that this is a professional reality TV star, because you just told her, you know what I'm saying, shortly after y'all said I do, that you were only on the circle, and just kind of diminished it and just made it seem like you were just on the circle and that was it. But as we know, there's like at least 4 or 5 reality shows that dude has been on, right? So ultimately, what has happened as well is, Courtney is stunned, because now she's of confusion as how Nick is also on Drag Race when he made it seem like he was only on the circle. And it's starting to be like, whispers as far as like, well, what's really going on? Is he really here for love? And let's say that all this reality TV stuff is in the past. Let's say that this is your last reality TV show. What is the end game with me? And that's a valid question. And I believe a preview for the next episode is either some people in her bridal party or some of the other guests are going to let her know, listen, look at here, there's at least 4 or 5 reality shows this dude has been on. Are you sure that he is truly here for the right reasons and you're not about to get played on national TV? And this is why I am against people who've previously been on reality TV to come on a show like A Love is Blind, like A Married at First Sight, because ultimately they're they're not there for love. We just saw that on, I'm going to give you a perfect example of what happened. So, Pop the Balloon that's on YouTube, right? And they had created a Netflix version of it that they gentrified it, right? And instead of it having regular people on there that were looking for love, they decided to incorporate reality stars who had been on reality TV shows like Johnny Bananas, who is famous for always being on The Challenge. They had Cinco on there from Love Island, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? Either there were connections or there weren't connections, but guess what? Nothing happened after the filming of the show. Nothing materialized with the specific reality stars, and the show got canceled because they completely transformed the show into something it wasn't, which is kind of what Peacock has done in butchering the Lifetime version of this show. You know what I'm saying? Like there was mess and chaos and toxicity at Lifetime, but at least we knew what we were getting ourselves into. This is a whole abomination, where now we're going to be rotating in reality stars, professional reality stars. I don't care what your job is. I don't care how big of a tech job you have or how much money you're making. You're addicted to the spotlight, sir. You are addicted to the fame. You are addicted to the lifestyle. It is one thing, you know what I'm saying? If you are doing 1 or 2 reality shows, or you're expanding beyond, a certain genre of reality TV, like maybe you did dating reality shows and now you want to switch over and do some competition reality shows, right? But it's a whole nother ball game where you're known for all competition related reality shows where there's like a prize at the end and that sort of a thing. And now out of the ordinary, you end up on Married at First Sight, and out of the ordinary, you're on Perfect Match. Like it's not, the math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. And I really hope that I hope there's a way Courtney can get out of this, because this is where, you know what I'm saying? Somebody needs to be cussed out. Somebody needs to be cussed out, because why would you match me with somebody who has been on 5 reality shows? That means they're not taking me seriously and they're just here for the lights, camera, action, and I'm about to be played. I'm about to be embarrassed, right? So we'll see what happens with that couple as we transition into episode 3. The next couple that we get introduced to is Michelle and Cameron. And we'll still see, the jury is still out. It seems like Michelle genuinely is there trying to look for love and look for all the things. And Cameron appears, you know what I'm saying, too. But not too much on the wedding. Really, we got to talk about the wedding reception, because it was really Cameron's people that was really trying to sell Cameron to Michelle. And I was of confusion, because when you make a statement, oh yeah, he played against Steph Curry, but really it wasn't, like, hey, you played against Steph Curry while Steph Curry was at Davidson, his college career, or you played against Steph Curry during his NBA career while Steph Curry was on the Golden State Warriors. But instead you say, oh, it was a professional event. Google him. It's on YouTube. Like, listen, I am glad that he has a great career as a basketball coach and is in all of these great things, and apparently is at a school that is old as Methuselah. That is fantastic. But I'm gonna need y'all to stop doing all this nonsense where y'all overhype people and y'all throw out a celeb's name or a public figure's name for clout and attention, and really it's a nothing burger. I'm gonna need you to be serious and keep it a buck. So another couple to where the jury's gonna be out. It feels like they may have potential because of all the couples that we've seen thus far. They may have the least amount of drama, you know what I'm saying? But again, jury is still out. Next, we gotta get into Mecca and Belle, y'all. Mecca and Belle, because Mecca's dad is basically trying to do PR for his son and having a one-on-one conversation with Belle. You know what I'm saying? Are you really into my son? Yes or no? I'm a principal. I couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't tell. But anyways, he says that he's a principal. He likes to rate things on a number scale from 0 to 10, all this, all that. How interested are you in my son? Or how interested are you feeling my son? So Belle basically said, probably like a 9, maybe like an 8 or a 9. You know what I'm saying? And then the father was ecstatic and, basically, was happy that it looks like his daughter-in-law is actually into his son and, wanted to make sure, because Mecca is having a full-on meltdown. He does not think that Belle is interested in him at all. So the dad basically is running interference, right? And so then Mecca has a conversation with the groomsmen. And it sounds like he was drinking. It sounds like he was drinking and drowning himself in sorrows and prayers, because he thinks that, Belle's not featuring him. Belle's not interested. And the groomsmen were like, listen, she's feeling you. We saw her face light up when she met you. And he's like, what about the kiss thing? Wasn't that weird that she wanted to do the kiss on the cheek? She didn't want to kiss on the lips. And they're like, listen. They were trying to say without saying, no, there is all these cameras in our face right now. She just met you. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to give that off yet because she doesn't know you in front of all these cameras. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when y'all get some alone time, when y'all get to know each other, once she's more comfortable, a kiss is gonna happen. Y'all will be kissing in the future. But she wants to go about it the right way. She doesn't want to just do it just to do it. And y'all just met each other. Y'all know nothing about each other. And sight unseen. So I think that calmed him down a little bit. And then we get to the speeches. And then this is where things just go completely left and completely wrong. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I understand that Mecca's dad is a comedian. Well, I'm calling him a comedian, but he says that he's a principal by trade, that's his actual occupation. But I couldn't tell from his speech. So he said he rattled off all these things that his son wanted to be. That he wanted to be a boxer and he lost, 3 matches in a row. That he wanted to be an FBI agent, but I guess he got scared or, didn't want to do it because they have over 1,000 applications a month for the FBI, basically feeling as though he wouldn't make the cut. And I feel like you should, if you were that strongly with it, why not apply? Oh, you just feel like you're just not good enough because of the number of applicants? Like, that was kind of weird to me. That was kind of odd. Because if you had the skill set and you passed all the necessary tests and everything else that it takes, like, why are we just giving up like that? I didn't like that. Then I guess he had dreams of being a basketball star. Right? Had dreams of, maybe delusions, maybe being in the land of Delulu and thinking one day that he was going to go to the NBA or something. I don't know. But the dad basically made a joke, or maybe it was serious, that, not only did he try to audition for a D1 school basketball team, but did not make it, but made it to the practice squad of the women's team. And Belle is like, oh, okay, we're going in on my husband a little bit too much, like not too much on my husband, like y'all just dragging him. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was supposed to be like a happy time, a happy moment. Y'all gonna tell me some positive things that I got look forward to with his husband, but it sounds like, he's tried several career paths, or at least it primarily in sports. Trying to become something in sports, and it's all flopped. And it flopped so bad that he had to be on the practice squad of the women's team. No. So ultimately, the way Mecca's dad ties this all together and basically lands the plane is he says that, of all the things that he was expecting his son to be, of all the things that he was hoping for his son to become, he was not anticipating him to be a husband first. And and I'm like, wow, I don't even know. Like, what do you even say to something like that? What do you even say to a statement like that, you guys? What do you even say? What is even the response? Like, I was expecting more from you. I was expecting you to do X, Y, or Z. But really, you know what I'm saying? It's you as a husband. It's you as a husband is where we've landed. And I was like, yikes. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yikes. So that was on that, right? Then we got to get to, I think, what is going to be probably potentially the most controversial couple of the season. And this is where I feel like, once again, the plot is completely lost. Where this is where you're just saying married at first sight and everything else is out the window. Married at first sight, everything else is out the window. So we got to get to the Nikki and Sean of it all. That I think this is going to end in epic fail. I think Nikki was not set up for success. She was not. It sounds like Sean, you know what I'm saying? Seems like a nice guy. Don't know how much he makes. He wanted to make it known, although he has a big time job at a university, that basically the big bucks aren't there yet until you become president, right? Until you become president of the school, right? But he did not, at least they did not show us what his salary was. But he wanted to brag about the fact that he dates taller women. He likes women who looks like, WNBA players. He said that he dated the first Miss Massachusetts. It looks like he likes dating beauty queens, right? And he said all of the women that he has dated made more money than him. But he has no problem being in a supportive role, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to being a provider. And I'm already thinking to myself, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well once we really get into the meat and potatoes of this marriage. So Nikki has a job as a big-time HR leader that I believe she said the salary range is between 250 thou wow to 350 thou wow. So that already tells me, you know what I'm saying, either you're going to have to date somebody who is not making as much as you, or you're going to have to expand your dating search if you really want to find somebody on that type of level, because there's only certain professions and positions that are going to put you in that particular tax bracket. And we've seen time and time again with these celebrities, with these reality stars, even in some of y'all regular lives, whether it's you or your relatives, where when you marry somebody and you get with somebody who makes significantly less money than you, that either it works out if the person is not insecure or doesn't have resentment or is not in their feels about it, or it doesn't work out because they find ways to try to humble you and try to diminish you and make you feel less than, to increase their self-esteem, that they want to make you feel miserable and feel guilty that you're the one that is making all the shmoney in the marriage. So I'm very concerned for Nikki because I feel as though she's about to get a double whammy. She's about to not be attracted to this dude, number one. And number two, financially, they're not going to be on the same page with salaries and contribution to the bills and to all the things, because basically it sounds like Nikki prefers tall men, like men like 6 feet tall, you know what I'm saying, and I didn't like the expert forcing Nikki to lower what her preference is of what she wants a man to make. She basically said minimum he needs to make $250,000, and it felt like he was trying to talk her down to say $200,000 or less, and then try to be like, oh, well, the national salary of Americans is $64,000. That's all well and good. You know what I'm saying? That is all well and good, and it is no shade and it is no disrespect to the people who are making $64,000 a year or less than $64,000 a year. But if you have somebody on there that is making 250 thou wow, between 250 thou wow and 350 thou wow, and you're telling them that they need to lower their standards, that there might be a match for them less than that, I'm not going to buy it, because you're about to set her up not only with somebody who's going to make significantly less than her, but somebody that is not going to be her physical type in terms of what she's used to in terms of attractiveness. And y'all setting her up for the okie doke, and I don't like that at all. Because I think she's going to be very disappointed once she meets this man. So we fast forward, you know what I'm saying? Nikki is getting ready for the wedding with her bridesmaids, her family, all the things. She gets some gifts that come in from the groom. And, you know, a nice pendant, nice gifts, all this, all of that. And everybody's hyping her up like, oh, you're going to be, you know what I'm saying, treated like a princess. It's nothing less than Nordstrom all the time. And I'm like, y'all are speaking too soon. And then she also had the her husband's ring, and the girls were hyping it up again. Oh, he must be real tall. He must be real tall and got big hands and da 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 da. And Nikki's like, that doesn't matter. Just because this ring is this big, it doesn't mean that he's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, some 6'4", 6'5" dude. You know what I'm saying? We got to see what the T is. We can't just judge by a ring size how tall a man is about to be. So we get to the wedding, and it's going to be bad, you guys. It is going to be very bad, because ultimately what has happened is Nikki has met, you know what I'm saying, her groom, and she's not feeling it. She is not feeling it. She is pissed. She is pissed. She's not attracted to Sean. She's not interested in him. He's short. She probably does not find him attractive, all the things. So she's walking down the aisle, and she is crying. And she's not crying because of tears of happiness. She is crying because Sean is everything that she did not want on her list of when she met with these experts. And this is what I'm saying. Y'all don't care for real about real matchmaking with these couples. Y'all want maximum drama. You want the women to lower their standards and what their deal breakers are, so y'all can get drama on this show and have these people humiliated for a couple of months. And that's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. It is a shame, you know what I'm saying, that Big Brother has a better success rate of romance than y'all show. Not like, what are we doing? So, Nikki's crying down the aisle. She's trying to wave to her family and friends. She's trying to give them the signal, get me the H-double-L up on out of here. And see, her gut was telling her something before she walked down the aisle, because she had two friends, a male and a female, you know what I'm saying, that was hyping her up. She already had tears in her eyes then. That, you know what I'm saying, that this is the end of the road, this is the end of the line. But something in her gut was telling her that she needed to run for the hills. She just didn't know what it was until she saw who the groom was, you guys. And she realized she was set up. She realized she was played for a fool. She realized that these matchmakers lied to her face. They played in her face. And this is going to be a disaster of a marriage. So it was already bad when Sean introduced himself to Nikki's mom. And he was like, you know, what can I call you? And she was like, mother-in-law. She didn't even want to say what her name was. As if you really had the audacity to ask her what her name was. Child. So Nikki finally is down the aisle, y'all. And she is meeting Sean, and Nikki is looking around. And, you know, like, he's like, I'm excited to meet you. And Nikki, she is trying to, like, grit through her teeth this smile that does not want to come across her face. And she's just trying to look around and smile and pretend. And then she's trying to look at the officiant for direction. And I'm like, this is going to be very bad. This is going to be very bad. And we have not even, you know what I'm saying, scratched the surface. We have not scratched the surface of how bad this is about to be. So I just feel really bad for Nikki, because this is something that is an ongoing issue. And I hate that, you know what I'm saying? We just saw, even with Nick and Courtney, even though I think he is full of it, it was interesting how the matchmakers excused his professional reality TV experience because they liked the fact that he was successful, he came from all this money, and he, you know, was all these things. But with Nikki, you wanted her to lower her standards, lower her salary requirements for a husband, just for the sake of saying that there could be a partner out here. And this is where, again, if you were not going to find somebody in Nikki's salary range, don't even bother matching her with somebody. If you're not going to find, if she likes tall men and she wants men with a certain salary, you should have found it. You could have found a doctor. You could have found an executive. You know what I'm saying? You could have found, you know what I'm saying? There are plenty of jobs out here that match that salary requirement and that height that Nikki is looking for. It may or may not be in Seattle, but it is out there. But y'all were basically like, listen, look at here, we got this dude, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be, who's dated beauty queens, who's dated women who make more money, and if she comes down lower on what her requirements are, we'll just put them together. No. So, you guys, I just feel like this is about to be a hot mess. And bring back Pastor Cal and Dr. Because you know what I'm saying? At least I know what I'm getting into with Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper. But I do not like how these experts are diminishing red flags and diminishing deal breakers just for the sake of trying to have good TV, just for the sake of trying to have some drama. And it is going to be the expense of these women humiliated and embarrassed on Peacock. And I just can't do it. I just cannot do this. But this is what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to me. Because even on Lifetime, I felt like there was even a better effort, even with the toxic couples, that there was at least an effort to try to make something shake. Where y'all just weren't so blatant like this, bringing on reality TV stars and bringing on people who were flat out the opposite of what they were asking for. Yeah, it's happened now and again on Lifetime, but this is really bad. This is absolutely bad, and I feel like we're going to have another dud of the season, and nothing would shock me if none of these couples, or maybe one or two possibly, but you know what I'm saying? It potentially could be one, maybe two, or zero that are going to still stand the test of time when this is all said and done, because y'all played in these people's faces. This is not expert level of matchmaking. This is how far much of a deal breaker we could put these opposite connections together so we can get good TV and get some ratings out of this. So that is it, you guys, for this video. I need y'all to do me the biggest favor, and that is to hype the video, please. There is that. That is it. That is all. It's todos es final. Es finito. Is he in the road? See you in the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.